Welcome to Expertise Unleashed. I'm Brian.
And I'm Michelle.
And Michelle, today we are going to be talking about something very special that absolutely has to take place when you're building a business, which is sales.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Sales is a dirty word for some people. They don't like it.
It is, but although you may be terrified of it, you don't have to if you approach it the right way and you use proper techniques, which we're going to go over a couple of those today. You can become very adept and efficient at sales, and you will watch your business skyrocket simply because you know how to communicate effectively and properly, with prospective clients. So.
Yeah, I think that's good. You know what? Really, sales shouldn't be. I think when people think of the term sales, I think they think of the wishy-washy, flaky, bold, over-aggressive people at the car lot. And so they have this thought about, or the vacuum cleaner sales guy from years ago that was trying to push you into buying something that maybe you couldn't afford, you didn't want, and you felt pressured into doing. And really, sales shouldn't be like that. And sales really, if done appropriately, it's not about really selling you anything. It's really more so about helping a person take action on something they actually may need themselves. Like, it's really just helping people make a decision, a good decision on something that they need. Because if you promote well, and we just got through having a conversation, if you didn't see that episode, go back and take a look at the promotion episode. But if you have promoted well, the people that you have an opportunity to have a conversation with, not sales, a conversation with about something that you do or that you provide, a product or service that you provide, then you're actually having a conversation with people who actually need the problem that you solve. And so now we're having conversations. So we're not selling anybody anything. You're having a conversation about a service or a product that you have that solves a problem that they have. And then we in a conversation, you're helping them take action on something that you can help them with.
Yeah, 100%, Michelle. I think about, some of the sales roles that we've had, even into sales management and things like that, having whole territories and having to build out territories. But really, business business is people, knowing people, and sales is getting down to the issue of what this person needs and desires. Because people want to do it. They just need somebody to help them make the decision, like you said. And so like you said, when you're looking at it from that perspective, there's a couple of different things that you have to be really, really good at, if you're going to sell. And I would say the number one thing that you have to be good at is listening. You have to be able to pick up on, what people are saying, what their pain point is, what problem they have. And you have to be able, not only be able to listen, but also a good trick I learned a long time ago was to be able to recite. So you have to work on your memory as well. Okay, if I understand you correctly, I believe I heard you say, this is where you're at, this is the problem, this is what you're looking for. So listening is very critical. You and I both know that, having done sales at a high level.
You know what, Brian? We were talking earlier, and before you even get to the listening part, I want to take them one step back because you got to ask them some right questions first so that you know what you're listening for. And so you told me about 2 questions that you ask everybody. And would you tell them those 2 questions that you asked? Do you remember the 2 questions you asked?
I think the first thing I asked was, what is it that you're looking for? And I think the second question I always asked was,
What matters most?
yeah, what matters most to you? Because that's just cutting right to it. And usually those 2 questions, what are you looking for? And then what matters most to you? Because it's actually a 2-step. because I'm getting them talking, saying, "What are you looking for?" And they'll talk for a little bit, but when I ask the question, what matters most, which are both open-ended questions, which maybe is a discussion for another day that you want to ask. It gets them to open up and it gets them talking. Now I'm able to receive all of the information that they have, and if I know my product, and if you're a business owner, you should know your product, all the ins and outs, your service or whatever it is. Now I know, okay, this is what they need. I have this for that, this for that. And you may even get to the point, hey, I can't help this person. And I may know somebody who can, but you're right. The questions are critical, to be able to ask, and then you listen, 100%.
I think it's real important because a lot of times people are so busy trying to identify, or thinking about the benefits and the features of the service that it is that they're trying to sell somebody. Remember, we're not in the business. We're not salespeople. That's the first thing that's the myth. So
Yes.
if we're framing up this conversation, we want to bust myths about sales, because you do have to have, a business needs to be able to grow. You grow by being able to solve more problems. The more problems that you're able to solve, or the more people whose problems you're able to solve, the more your business is going to grow. But the way that you do that is by having more conversations with people. The more people that you're able to have conversations with, the more opportunities you have for your business to grow. You are not a salesperson. You are a trusted advisor. You are an individual that's able to solve, you're a problem solver. You are a challenge seeker. That's what you are. You're not a salesperson. Now, what you're doing is you're asking questions. If you say, hey, what is it that you are looking for and what matters most to you? Because the people that are having conversations with you, they're already interested in what it is that you have to offer. So you're trying to find out from them, what is it that they need? How do you best assist them? How do you solve their problem? What's the challenge that's before you? And so once they tell you what those things are and you're listening, then it's resonating for you how you're best able to help them, because each person may be different. No matter what your product is, no matter what your service is, their challenge or their problem, what matters most to them is going to be different from every individual that you sit in front of. But you can help them predominantly with the same service that you provide, but it's going to be the way that you articulate it, the way you satisfy that challenge for them, and the way you present it back to them is going to be able to help you grow your business. And that's what you get adept at. You're not a salesperson. You have conversations to be able to solve that problem and share with them how you're going to do that, because they're looking for outcomes and they're looking for results. If you're able to provide that for them, then you are the person to help them. And that's what people have to get into. You're not a salesperson. As long as you've got in your mind, I've got to sell, you're not going to be able to help them. You are there to solve their problem. And I think that's where people get tripped up, because they're like, I don't want to be a salesperson. I don't want to be the guy selling encyclopedias or vacuums or cars. I know when we go to the BMW lot and we are having our car serviced, or when we're looking for a new car, they treating us with quality and expertise, and the way that we're getting to make a decision on which car we want. And really, the person is asking us about, well, what is it that you need? What is it that you're looking for?
If he's good, if they're good, they are.
Yeah.
I gotta say something. So I've seen people, because this term, the gift of gab, this person got the gift of gab and all that stuff. It really 9 times out of 10 does not work in sales. Because somebody who's just talking, they you get after about 30 seconds if this person is really interested in helping you or if they're interested in getting a commission. And I've seen a lot of people talk themselves out of sales simply because they had the wrong motive, they didn't ask questions, and they absolutely did not listen. And so, like you said, a good salesperson, is doing all of these things, and however they do them, like to me, I like to ask those two questions up front and just get right to it, so I have more time on the back end. But however you do it and it's successful for you, you have to do those things. They're never just buying you. They're always going to go with the person who can solve their problem. So consequently, after I came behind a lot of people, and sometimes I would ask the question, well, why are you buying now? Well, the person that, tried to sell me before the first time, I felt like they were a con man or a scam artist. And that's kind of where the used car salesman things come in. So people aren't dumb, they know. There's nothing so great about me, that, oh, I'm gonna just buy from you just because it's you. Now your family might do that and some of your friends may do that, but when you get out into the marketplace, you better be solving a problem. You better be tackling the issue. You better be doing something, asking proper questions, so you can get your product or service sold.
You know what? I'm going to give you a good example of what you just said. So, guy went into a car dealership, and I was, let me just share a story. So, he went in, and he asked the first sales guy in the Audi shop. He said, hey, I'm looking for I think it was an Audi. He was looking for a Roadster, whoever, I don't know who the maker is of Roadsters, and the guy said, he's like, oh yeah, let me take you over here, and here's a nice red Roadster. It has certain number, gets a certain number of miles per hour. In 6 seconds, it's a beast. Like, it runs really quickly. You're gonna love it. It'll have the wind blowing through your hair and this and that. You know, and you can take it out. You can take it today and do as you will. And this will look good on you. And the guy said, okay, and but anyway, he just and the guy's looking at his watch, and so forth. And anyway, the guy left, and so the guy's like, hey, you're not interested in the car, and he walked out. So the next weekend he goes to another same kind of dealership, just a different one. And um and so the guy salesman comes up to him and says, hey, what kind of car are you looking at? And he said, you know what, I'd like to see a Roadster. And the salesman asked him, he said, what's bringing you in to see a Roadster today? And he said, my dad and I, when I was a kid, we always, said we would go and pick out a Roadster when I graduated. But he and I, we loved the Roadsters, and that was one of the dreams that we had when I was young. It was my dad's favorite car. And the salesman said, oh really? He's like, that's nice. He's like, where's your dad? Is your dad gonna come in and you guys gonna want to taste it today together? And he said, well, no, my dad passed away a couple of years ago, but I graduated and I wanted to get the car. And he said, gosh, I sure hate to hear about your dad. How you doing? And the guy told him, he said, I'm doing okay, but he said this was a dream me and my dad had, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get the car. And he said, all right. And the salesman said, let me go grab the keys. Different experience. The guy ended up getting the car, but it was because the salesman was interested in why he wanted the car. And so that we don't want to be salesmen. We want to be interested in what matters to the person who is looking to us to provide the service or what. And we've got to ask questions. We want to have conversations with people and see what's important to them. What matters most to
Yeah,
you?
this topic of sales is a monster. I mean, you're talking about rapport, relationship building, social cues, having emotional intelligence. All of those things matter, in sales. They really, really do. And I would always see the people that did poorly, they were lacking probably in at least three of those different areas, and so they were never going to succeed, or they didn't take the lessons that were presented to them, and move out on them. But we're gonna jump into some more of this stuff because we both salespeople, so um, we got
We
more
like
to come.
having
Yeah, we got more to
conversations with
come on
people.
this. Yeah,
Yeah. No, I love it. So, you know what? I am always excited to share with you great nuggets about things that we love to do, helping people with their businesses, getting them off the ground. So, if you like this particular episode, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share with us some comments. We would love to hear from you. And so, we're going to wrap it up. So, Brian, I'm going to kick it over to you.
as always, some people are meant to create small businesses, some people are meant to create a large business, and some people are meant to create empires. Which one are you?